Building yourself quietly is one of the most profound ways to shape your life. In a world where noise and distractions surround us at every turn, it is easy to forget that the greatest growth often happens in the quietest moments. The loud applause, the bright lights, and the rapid rush of success are temporary. But the quiet, steady effort you put into building your character, strengthening your mind, and nurturing your spirit will last far beyond any fleeting applause. You must understand that true growth is not measured by how loudly you are noticed, but by how deeply you have transformed yourself in the hidden corners of your life. Patience and perseverance are the cornerstones of this quiet transformation. So many times we become impatient. We want success now, we want recognition now, and we want everything to happen according to our own timeline. But growth doesn't work like that. Growth is slow. It requires the steady patience to endure the process, knowing that the seeds you plant today will bear fruit in their own time. Just as a tree takes years to grow from a seed, so does your character. Keep pushing forward, even when the results aren't immediate. When you build yourself quietly, you understand that the process itself is just as valuable as the end result. Too often we seek validation from the world around us, but this only leads us to empty pursuits. You cannot build your life on the applause of others. If you do, you will always find yourself craving more, never fully satisfied. True strength comes from within. It comes from the deep well of self-worth and belief in your purpose that can only be cultivated through quiet, consistent effort. Focus on your inner growth, on strengthening your character, on developing your talents, and on nurturing your soul. Let the world see the fruits of your labor when the time is right, but never seek the approval of the crowd. Your greatest validation must come from within, from knowing that you are walking in alignment with your values, your faith, and your purpose. To build yourself quietly requires self-discipline and consistency. It is in the small, everyday choices that you shape your future. Every day is an opportunity to choose discipline over distraction, focus over procrastination, and perseverance over quitting. The world will always try to pull you in different directions, but the quiet, steady commitment to your goals will determine your success. Every act of discipline you practice, whether it's waking up early, staying committed to your goals, or learning to say no to things that don't align with your purpose, builds a foundation that will support your growth for years to come. In this noisy world, silence and solitude are often viewed as weaknesses. But let me tell you, the greatest growth happens when you are alone with your thoughts, away from the distractions of the world. Silence is where you find clarity. It's in these quiet moments that you are able to reflect on who you truly are, what you truly want, and where you truly need to go. It's in solitude that you reconnect with your deepest self, the part of you that is in tune with your purpose, with your faith, and with the greater forces at work in your life. Learn to embrace silence, because it is in this space that true wisdom is found. Mastering self-retrieval is essential to building yourself quietly. The world is full of distractions, temptations, and instant gratifications. But those who build themselves quietly are those who learn to control their impulses, their desires, and their reactions. They understand that true strength lies not in giving in to every passing temptation, but in the ability to say no, to make choices that align with their greater purpose, and to remain focused on their long-term goals. Building yourself quietly means learning to be patient with yourself, but also learning to discipline yourself when necessary. Finally, building yourself quietly requires a heart of gratitude and humility. The greatest accomplishments come not from the pride of achievement, but from the humble recognition that all growth is a gift. It is through the help of others, through the grace of Allah, and through the lessons life teaches us that we are able to grow. Humility opens doors that pride will never touch. Gratitude fills your heart with peace and contentment, knowing that every step of your journey, no matter how small or difficult, is a part of the greater plan. With a heart of gratitude, you learn to appreciate not only the victories, but also the struggles, because it is through both that you are shaped into the person you are becoming. So my friend, build yourself quietly. Embrace patience and perseverance. Focus on your inner development, remain disciplined and consistent. Find strength in silence, master self-control, and nurture a heart full of gratitude and humility. When you do this, you will find that the most powerful transformation happens not in the loud public moments, but in the quiet, hidden spaces of your life. In life, the most important things often take time to develop, and the greatest achievements are rarely the result of instant success. Too often we are caught up in the rush, the desire for immediate results, and the thrill of instant gratification. But real growth, the kind that lasts, is built on patience and perseverance. These qualities are the foundation for everything worthwhile in life. When we embrace patience, we recognize that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow, deliberate process where each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory in itself. It's about understanding that even when things aren't going as we hoped, even when the progress seems barely noticeable, there is value in the quiet persistence of continuing to move forward. Patience teaches us to trust in the journey, to understand that each season of our lives has its purpose, even if we can't see it in the moment. We may face challenges, setbacks, and obstacles that seem insurmountable, but it's during these times that we learn the most about ourselves. Perseverance, the ability to continue despite adversity, gives us the strength to keep going when we feel like giving up. It is in those moments of struggle that our true character is forged. The key is to keep pushing forward, even when the path is unclear or the progress feels slow. The world may tell you that you need to hurry, that you need to rush to achieve, but real greatness takes time. Just like a tree that grows slowly from a small seed into something magnificent, your growth, your character, your life requires nurturing, patience, and unwavering perseverance. Don't be discouraged by the time it takes. Understand that every moment spent building yourself, even in the quietest of times, is moving you closer to your ultimate goal. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about enduring with hope, with faith, and with the understanding that your efforts are not in vain. Every challenge you face, every difficulty you encounter, is an opportunity to grow stronger, more resilient, and more equipped for what lies ahead. Embracing patience and perseverance means trusting that, in time, the seeds you plant today will yield fruit tomorrow. So, remain steadfast, keep moving forward, and remember that the quiet moments of struggle are often the most important building blocks of your future success. In a world that constantly encourages us to seek external validation, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters, the development of our inner selves. Society places so much emphasis on outward appearances, on status, on wealth, and on recognition. We are taught to measure our worth by how others see us, by the likes we get, the comments we receive, and the applause we earn. But if we build our lives on the fleeting approval of others, we will always find ourselves searching for something more, something that will never truly satisfy the deepest longings of our hearts. True strength and growth come from within. The more we focus on developing our inner world, the way we think, the way we feel, the way we respond to life, the more we begin to shape our lives into something truly meaningful. Building yourself quietly is about cultivating character, resilience, wisdom, and faith, regardless of how others perceive you. It's about investing in the things that truly matter. Your values, your integrity, your purpose. These are the qualities that will stand the test of time, even when the opinions of others fade away. When we focus on inner development, we begin to understand that our worth isn't determined by the external world. It isn't defined by the accolades we collect or the opinions others hold of us. Rather, our worth is rooted in who we are when no one is watching, in the choices we make when no one is applauding. It's about building a strong foundation of faith and self-belief, knowing that your value comes from something far greater than the fleeting approval of others. External validation can be a fleeting high, like a wave that crashes and fades, but the validation that comes from within is a constant source of strength. When you are anchored in your own sense of purpose and identity, no matter what the world throws your way, you remain steadfast. Your decisions are guided not by the expectations of others, but by a deep understanding of who you are, what you believe in, and the direction you want your life to take. As you focus on inner development, you learn to appreciate the beauty of your own journey. You realize that you don't need to measure your progress by how others are progressing or by how loud the applause is. You learn that your growth is not a competition, but a personal journey that is unfolding uniquely for you. It's a quiet process, often unseen by the world, but it is the most authentic and lasting form of success you will ever achieve. So focus on developing the qualities that matter most. Cultivate patience, perseverance, kindness, humility, and gratitude. Work on your mental clarity, emotional intelligence, and spiritual strength. These are the foundations that will support you through every trial, every challenge, and every triumph in life. When you build yourself from the inside out, you will find that the external world no longer has the power to shake your sense of self-worth or direction. You become unshakable because your validation comes from the peace and strength within, not from the applause or judgment of others. Self-discipline and consistency are the quiet forces that shape every successful life. They are the bedrock upon which dreams are built, the unseen work behind every accomplishment. While the world may celebrate the loud victories and the dramatic transformations, it is the everyday, consistent actions that truly define a person's growth. To build yourself quietly means committing to a standard of excellence that you uphold every day, even when no one is watching, and even when there is no immediate reward. Self-discipline is the ability to make choices that align with your long-term vision, even in the face of temptation or distraction. It's about mastering the small decisions that lead to greater success, whether it's saying no to a fleeting pleasure or sticking to a routine that you know will lead to personal growth. It's about choosing what matters most over what feels easiest in the moment. Each time you practice self-discipline, you strengthen the foundation of your future self, building habits that will carry you through life's challenges with resilience and purpose. Consistency is the unwavering commitment to show up day in and day out, even when the results aren't immediately apparent. It's about staying true to your vision, even when the road seems long or when the progress feels slow. Life will throw many obstacles in your path, and there will be times when you feel discouraged or tempted to quit. But it is in those moments when you feel like giving up that consistency becomes your most powerful tool. It's the quiet determination to keep going, to keep putting in the effort, even when you can't see the fruits of your labor just yet. Self-discipline and consistency are intertwined. One without the other leaves you directionless or stagnant. If you have self-discipline but lack consistency, you may start strong but struggle to finish. If you have consistency but lack self-discipline, you may find yourself repeating the same mistakes without learning or growing. But when you have both, you create a powerful force in your life, a force that will carry you through every season, every trial, and every success. It is often in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that self-discipline and consistency make the greatest impact. The decision to wake up early, to push through the discomfort, to stay committed to your work even when it feels mundane, these are the moments that shape your future. Over time, these small acts compound, building into something far greater than you can imagine. When you embody self-discipline and consistency, you create a rhythm in your life. You align your actions with your deepest values, and you make progress, no matter how slow it may seem. You trust the process, knowing that each small step is bringing you closer to who you are meant to become. You understand that growth is not about one dramatic moment, but about the accumulation of consistent effort. So, continue showing up. Keep doing the work. Even in the quiet, unseen moments, know that your efforts are building something powerful, something that will withstand the tests of time. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, learning to embrace silence and solitude is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. Silence is often viewed as uncomfortable, even unnatural, in a society that thrives on constant communication and activity. We fear the quiet because it leaves us alone with our thoughts, our feelings, and sometimes our doubts. But it is in this very silence that we find clarity, strength, and understanding. To build yourself quietly, you must learn to find peace in solitude, to see it not as loneliness, but as an opportunity for deep reflection and transformation. Silence is where true wisdom is born. It is in the quiet moments that you can hear the still, small voice of your own heart, guiding you toward your purpose, your goals, and your faith. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to become disconnected from our true selves. We become so caught up in the noise of the world that we lose sight of what really matters. But when we embrace silence, we create the space to reconnect with who we really are. It's in these moments of stillness that we find the clarity to make decisions, to reflect on our values, and to align ourselves with our higher calling. Solitude, much like silence, allows for personal reflection and growth. While it can be uncomfortable at first, solitude is where you can nurture your mind, body, and soul without the constant pressure of external influence. It is in solitude that you can think deeply, make sense of your experiences, and gain insight into your own behaviors and patterns. This time alone helps you to reconnect with your inner strength and purpose, free from the judgments, expectations, and noise of the outside world. In solitude, you no longer rely on external approval or validation. You become self-sufficient, finding peace and guidance within yourself. The power of silence and solitude lies in their ability to center and ground you. When you learn to be still, you also learn to listen to yourself, to your surroundings, and to the deeper truths of life. In the quiet moments, you find a sense of peace that cannot be shaken by the noise around you. You learn to trust your instincts, to follow the path that is meant for you, and to rely on your inner wisdom. In solitude, there is also the opportunity to reflect on your growth. You are given the chance to step back and evaluate the person you are becoming. Without the pressure of others' expectations, you can reflect on your progress, acknowledge your victories, and learn from your challenges. Solitude gives you the space to be honest with yourself, to recognize areas where you need to improve, and to make changes that will lead you to a more fulfilled and purposeful life. Learning to embrace silence and solitude doesn't mean you need to isolate yourself from the world or avoid connection with others. It simply means creating a balance, taking time to be with yourself, to nurture your inner world, and to listen to the voice that often gets drowned out in the busyness of life. It's about finding peace in the quiet moments so that when the noise returns, you are stronger, clearer, and more centered. By embracing silence and solitude, you give yourself the opportunity to grow in ways that the noise of the world can never offer. In these moments, you are reminded of your own power, your own wisdom, and your own path. And as you continue your journey, you will find that the quiet moments are not a retreat from the world, but a deepening of your connection to it and to yourself. Mastering the art of self-control is one of the most profound ways to shape your character and your future. It is the ability to take control of your actions, thoughts, and emotions in moments of temptation, stress, or desire. In a world that constantly encourages instant gratification, indulgence, and impulsivity, self-control is the quiet strength that allows you to stay focused on what truly matters. It's easy to follow the crowd, to give in to the pressures and desires that surround us. But true power comes from the ability to say no to fleeting pleasures and to choose what aligns with your values and long-term goals. Self-control begins with understanding that every decision, no matter how small, has an impact. It's about recognizing that every choice you make shapes the person you are becoming. Every time you choose to resist temptation, you strengthen your character. Every time you choose to stay disciplined in the face of distraction, you move closer to your goals. Self-control isn't about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about being intentional in your decisions, knowing that each choice builds your future, one step at a time. In mastering self-control, you develop the ability to recognize and manage your impulses, emotions, and desires. It's easy to react in the moment, to lash out in anger, to give in to impatience, or to seek comfort in unhealthy habits. But true self-control allows you to pause, to reflect, and to respond with wisdom and calm. It gives you the strength to resist the pull of immediate satisfaction and to focus on what truly matters in the long run. It's the ability to stay grounded when emotions are high, to choose actions that align with your values, even when your feelings want to take you in a different direction. Self-control also involves setting boundaries, both with others and with yourself. It's about learning to say no to distractions, to negative influences, and to anything that takes you away from your purpose. It's about setting clear, intentional goals and maintaining the discipline to stay focused on them. The more you practice self-control, the more you begin to realize that you are in charge of your life, not your impulses, not your circumstances, and not the expectations of others. One of the greatest aspects of self-control is its power to bring peace. When you are in control of your thoughts and actions, you no longer feel at the mercy of your circumstances. You no longer feel like a victim of your emotions or your environment. Instead, you gain the peace that comes with knowing that your choices are yours to make, and that with each decision, you are taking ownership of your life. As you master the art of self-control, you also learn the value of delayed gratification. You realize that the rewards of patience, perseverance, and self-discipline far outweigh the fleeting pleasures of indulgence. You begin to see that the path of self-control leads to lasting fulfillment, while the path of indulgence often leads to regret. In this way, self-control becomes a form of self-respect, as it is the key to creating the life you desire, a life that is grounded in purpose, discipline, and the fulfillment that comes from making choices that align with your highest values. Ultimately, mastering self-control is about freedom. The freedom to make choices that reflect who you truly are, the freedom to stay true to your values, and the freedom to build a future that is in alignment with your purpose. As you continue to develop this skill, you will find that self-control empowers you to live a life of strength, wisdom, and peace. It is the quiet but mighty force that will guide you through every challenge, every temptation, and every moment of doubt. Developing a heart of gratitude and humility is a transformative journey that begins within and radiates outward, shaping not only how you see the world, but also how the world sees you. In a society that often values achievement, status, and material success above all else, it can be easy to lose sight of the simple yet powerful virtues of thankfulness and humility. However, these are the qualities that, when cultivated, create a life of peace, fulfillment, and lasting joy. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, and humility keeps you grounded, helping you to remember that every success, every blessing, and every opportunity is a gift, not something owed or deserved. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a practice, a daily choice to acknowledge and appreciate the blessings in your life, both big and small. It's easy to focus on what's lacking, on what isn't going right, or on what others have that we don't. But gratitude forces you to look in the opposite direction, to notice what is right, what is good, and what has already been given to you. It's in the quiet moments of appreciation, the acknowledgement of the small victories, and the recognition of the simple joys of life that we find a deep sense of peace. When you develop a heart of gratitude, you begin to see the world through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. You realize that the blessings in your life are more than enough, and you stop comparing yourself to others, knowing that your journey is unique and perfectly timed. Humility, on the other hand, teaches you to walk through life with an open heart, recognizing that you are not the center of the universe, but rather a part of something much greater. Humility is the ability to acknowledge that every success, every gift, and every opportunity you've received is not solely the result of your own efforts, but also the grace, favor, and support of others and of the Almighty. It's about being aware that there are always others who have helped you along the way, whether through encouragement, mentorship, or simply offering their time and resources. When you develop humility, you no longer need to boast or seek recognition for every achievement. You understand that true greatness doesn't come from how much attention you can garner for yourself, but from how much good you can do for others. A humble heart allows you to grow in ways that pride never can. It opens you up to learning, because when you are humble, you are willing to admit that you don't have all the answers, that there is always more to discover, and that you can learn from anyone, no matter their status or background. Humility invites wisdom and growth, as it keeps you receptive to the lessons life has to offer, and it helps you to remain teachable, no matter how far you've come or how much you've achieved. The beauty of gratitude and humility is that they are not only internally transformative, They also create positive, lasting changes in your relationships and interactions with others. When you cultivate a heart of gratitude, you become a beacon of light to those around you. People are drawn to your positivity, your appreciation for them, and your ability to see the good in others. Similarly, humility fosters connection and respect, as it allows you to treat others with kindness, understanding, and empathy. It helps you recognize that everyone is on their own journey, and we all have something valuable to offer. In your own life, embracing gratitude and humility will lead to a deeper sense of contentment and fulfillment. You will no longer feel the need to constantly strive for more, because you will recognize that you already have everything you need to be at peace. Gratitude opens your eyes to the beauty that already exists in your life, and humility ensures that you never take it for granted. Together, these virtues provide a strong foundation upon which you can build a life of meaning, purpose, and lasting joy. So take the time each day to reflect on the blessings you have been given. Be thankful for the people, the opportunities, and the experiences that have shaped you, and acknowledge the ways in which you have been supported along the way. And as you continue to grow, let humility guide you, reminding you that everything you achieve is a result of more than just your own efforts. Let gratitude and humility shape your perspective, your actions, and your interactions, and you will find that they are the keys to living a life that is truly abundant, peaceful, and full of purpose.